Breaking right now, Suella Braverman has become the most senior British politician to weigh in on Prince Harry's ongoing immigration battle with the US government over whether he should be deported for illegal drug use, which he admitted in Spare. So Niall Gardner from the Heritage Foundation, who has very much been driving this case, posted on X, Prince Harry visa case to have first court hearing under Donald Trump after Duke's drug admission. And Suella added, the law should apply without fear or favour and equally to everyone, including Prince Harry. There is a compelling public interest in disclosing these documents. Cover-ups erode trust. Transparency builds it. Heritage is right to be fighting for the American people. And we know that Donald Trump has certainly shown no mercy when it comes to deporting illegals. The question is, will he do it with Prince Harry, someone who he certainly doesn't like, and definitely doesn't like Meghan Markle, given the sensitivities that it would cause for the British royal family? Suella was asked about this by Niall Gardner in a bombshell interview in Washington, D.C. Watch.
All right, Patriots, let's start with the big issue at hand, Prince Harry's immigration status in the United States. Now, if you read Harry's memoir, Spare, you know he admitted to using a whole cocktail of illegal drugs. Cocaine, marijuana, psychedelics like magic mushrooms and ayahuasca. Now, here's the problem. When you apply for a U.S. visa, you are asked directly whether you have used illegal drugs. If you say yes, you are typically denied entry unless you apply for a special waiver. So here's the million-dollar question. Did Prince Harry lie on his visa application? Because if he did, that's a serious offense and his visa could be revoked immediately.
Without any doubt, Prince Harry should be fully held to account.
I agree wholeheartedly, Niall, and the Heritage Foundation has really been leading the fight for transparency and the public interest on this case. I think there's a very strong case for President Trump to intervene and to direct the release and disclosure of these documents. The American people should have the right to know what's happened here. Prince Harry is a citizen who's come to the United States. We need to know whether he broke the rules to get into the United States. If he did, the American people have a right to know, and those who allowed that to happen should be held to account. Or did Prince Harry receive special treatment upon his application to get into the United States? And if that happened, again, that's unacceptable, and the American people have the right to know. So I wholeheartedly support this mission to get to the truth and expose what's happened in the interests of transparency and accountability.
Father Calvin Robinson, this is big, isn't it? Suella Braverman, a former Home Secretary of the United Kingdom, she's a MAGA supporter. She was in Washington, D.C. for Trump's inauguration, as were you. And the thing is, it doesn't take much, does it, for Trump to be annoyed when it comes to Harry and Meghan? Will they really be able to keep their mouths shut for much longer? Should the Prince, the Duke of Duplicity, be worried?
He should be worried, yeah, absolutely. Because either he lied on his entry form into the United States or he lied in his book. Either way, he's a liar. It's not a good thing. I don't agree with Suella entirely. I think he can have special treatment because he is a member of the royal family. But then I think the authorities who let him in should be clear and transparent and say, yes, he received special treatment if he did. But I don't think he did. I think he probably just lied on his forms and said, no, I never did any illegal activities, never took any drugs, etc. And so that will be an issue. And if he lied on his forms, then he's broken the law. And anyone in America that's broken the law from another country needs to get deported to that country. That's Donald Trump's policy. And so, yes, the president should, in fact, deport Prince Harry if he has done that. And yes, it's significant that Suella is the one speaking out on this as well. As a former Home Secretary, and you're quite right, she is the most senior British politician to take part in this conversation. It's quite, I think she's kind of laying her flag in the ground. She's saying, I want to be a leader of the Conservative Party and or a senior figure in British politics again. These interviews with the Heritage Foundation are fantastic, but what is her game here? It's interesting. I'd love to see what's going to happen next.
And if he didn't lie, that means someone in the U.S. government gave him special treatment, which is even worse because it shows the rules don't apply to the elite. This right here, Patriots, is where things get interesting. Former UK Home Secretary Suella Braverman is not holding back. She is calling for full transparency and demanding that Prince Harry be held accountable just like any other person would be. And let's be real. If this were you or me, we wouldn't even get a visa if we admitted to drug use. But because Harry is a privileged royal, he gets to bend the rules? Braverman is making it clear. The American people have a right to know if Harry got special treatment. The law must apply equally to everyone. No exceptions for the elite. Donald Trump should release Harry's visa records so we can see the truth. And Patriots, let's be honest. Why is the Biden administration hiding this? If everything was done legally, why not just release the documents? Now let's talk about Donald Trump. This is where things get really, really interesting because if Trump wins the 2024 election, this entire case goes to court under his administration. And let me tell you, Trump has never been afraid to enforce immigration laws. Under his presidency, illegal border crossings dropped to record lows. Sanctuary city policies were challenged. Hundreds of high-profile visa fraud cases were investigated. So the big question is, would Trump deport Prince Harry?
Indeed, indeed. I mean, I do think one of the ironies about this whole situation, Father Calvin, though, is that Trump is such a supporter of the British royal family. He has so much respect for King Charles. He has even more respect for Prince William. And isn't the issue that he will be worried about creating a headache for them? Because let's be honest, Calvin, as it stands, Charles and William do not want Harry back at all.
No, nobody wants Harry. I kind of feel a bit bad for Harry. Nobody wants him. The US don't want him. We Brits don't want him. He's kind of stuck in limbo. But all he has to do is kind of keep his head down for a while and do some real work and stop all this media hogging and kind of him and his wife trying to get attention while saying they don't want any attention and all that. Just stop it. Just go quiet for a bit and do some hard work, and then all will be forgiven and forgotten.
I mean, the thing is, they chose the exact wrong time to go full woke, Harry and Meghan, didn't they? Because just as they've done that, the whole world has said, no thanks. And now they're left in a position, Father Calvin, where they have absolutely zero power because they are even toxic to the Democrats.
Yeah, what's interesting about this is that people are backtracking. So we saw Mark Zuckerberg, for example, was at the inauguration, a man who silenced most of us throughout COVID, who was very heavy-handed on the Hunter Biden laptop story. You know, he was authoritarian for the Democrats. And now that the Republicans are in power, he's suddenly changed his tune. And we see this with a lot of celebrities, that they're backtracking. And so on one hand, people who've always been kind of sound are able to be more vocal. And on the other hand, the people who were a bit wet are being less vocal. So this could be an advantage for Harry, actually, because it's mostly Meghan Markle that is the vapid woke one. He could separate himself from her image and say, you know what, actually, I agree with what these guys are saying. I believe in free speech and I believe in common sense values and Christian values. He could come out as ordinary and win people back over by distancing himself a bit from his wife's horrible branding.
I mean, you're so right. He absolutely could, because it's worked with Zuckerberg, right? Quick makeover, be a bit of a bro again. And all of a sudden, we're forgetting the fact that he was actually one of the most malignant forces over the COVID pandemic. Certainly, I was censored on Facebook all the time, even just for saying that I believed that COVID was a lab leak. And I was saying that, by the way, right back in March, April 2020. But Zuckerberg has done that because, let's be honest, Zuckerberg has a brain and he knows where the balance of power is. And Harry doesn't. He really doesn't. And remember, this is a guy, Father Calvin, who is not an American citizen, who, as a member of the British royal family, should be incredibly careful about the very fine line in terms of diplomacy, given the history between the United States of America and the United Kingdom. But instead, what has he done, Calvin? He said, I don't really believe in your First Amendment rights. And people just say, piss off. Piss off, because you just want to shut down a free press for your own selfish reasons. You don't know anything about free press. And remember, Calvin, he's linked in with all of the big globalist organizations, the World Health Organization when it comes to vaccines, United Nations when it comes to the military and globalism. And of course, the big one, the Aspen Institute, when it comes to quite literally attempting to censor social media. So while I agree, actually, I think people would so be desperate for Harry to sort of find his inner bro. Because actually, the irony is, he would have loved the MAGA movement, right? That's actually the type of guy he was. But he has become cucked and controlled by Meghan Markle to the point where I think he can't actually think for himself.
And let's not forget, Trump has never been a fan of Harry and Meghan. In fact, he's called them out multiple times for their attacks on the royal family and their woke activism. If Trump gets back into the White House, he could direct the Department of Homeland Security to investigate this case. And if Harry lied on his visa application, boom, his visa gets revoked. This is the most important question of all. Did Harry get special treatment? If the Biden administration gave Harry a pass, that's corruption. That means the law is not being applied fairly. The elites are living by a different set of rules. Regular Americans are held to a higher standard than a British prince.
Yeah, it's a shame, but I don't think it would take much. Just sitting down with Joe Rogan for a couple of hours.
Yes, oh my goodness. What an idea. Get him, he'd love the cage fighting, wouldn't he?
Exactly. He used to be a lad. That's the word that people used to use to describe him. It's so sad that we've lost that. But I honestly think he could get it back in no time. If someone as wicked as Mark Zuckerberg can be kind of forgiven and have a rebranding, why can't Prince Harry? But of course, he still has that massive weight pulling him down, which is his wife, Meghan Markle. She's not good for him. She's not good for the country. Not good for any of us, really.
No, I know. I know, but at the end of the day, I think Prince Harry should be worried, because can he keep his mouth shut over the course of a 4-year presidency? Can he keep his wife's mouth shut over the course of a 4-year presidency? I don't think so. And I'm just going to be honest. I think he did lie on the immigration documents, because he would have been utterly ridiculous, Calvin, to say, oh yeah, by the way, I took magic mushrooms at Courtney Cox's house and I'm a big cocaine user. I mean, no lawyer would tell him to do that. So I think when the documents emerge, he's going to be in deep, deep trouble, because either, Calvin, he can say, okay, yeah, I did lie on the documents, or he has to say, I lied in my book. And to be honest, I've always said that Spare is a work of fiction, but he wouldn't want to do that, would he?
Oh, I remember that awful book. I remember we had to read it, didn't we, when it first came? Oh,
I think I forced you to do that.
You did. It was you. Thanks, Dan.
I'll
sorry
never
get
about
that time back. But he does have to be careful what he says over the next 4 years, especially if he's saying things like he doesn't believe in the First Amendment.
Yeah.
This is a constitutional republic, constitutional democracy. The people in this country love their constitution. It's the very foundation of their nation, especially the First and Second Amendments. So to be disparaging them at any point is going to be incredibly damaging, not just to his reputation, but to his stance in this country. So let's see what he says with that.
And patriots, this isn't just speculation. We already know that the Biden White House has covered for Hunter Biden's scandals. So why wouldn't they cover for Prince Harry? We need transparency. We need accountability. And most of all, we need the truth. So patriots, let's break this all down. Prince Harry admitted to illegal drug use in Spare, but we still don't know if he lied on his visa application. Suella Braverman is calling for transparency and demanding that Harry be treated like any other immigrant. Donald Trump could investigate this case if he wins the 2024 election, and Prince Harry could be deported. Did Harry get special treatment? And if so, who helped him and why? This is about justice. It's about fairness. And it's about whether America still believes in the rule of law. What do you think, patriots? Should Prince Harry be deported if he lied on his visa application? Is the Biden administration covering for him? And most importantly, will Trump take action if he wins in 2024? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, and share.